Okay, so this is entering the last week of the strength phase. I believe this is week 4, I think. Yeah, I think we're just doing 4. And we're doing heavy singles. So we got 4 heavy singles on back squat and then 2 on deadlift. I'm not really too sure about how fast we're trying to move the deadlifts, honestly, or squats. I know for sure that we will be trying to hit around at least over 1.3, so heavy enough to where I can't move it up in less than 1.3 seconds from the full squat. And then for deadlifts, it'll probably be more around the 1.2 category. We'll see. If that's just not very hard, then we'll move it up. But I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah, so this is the start of the workout long videos, and I'll keep trying to post the big lifts, big jumps, big sprints or whatever, but those will just be small stuff on the Instagram, and yeah, most of the stuff will be on YouTube. But yeah, so let's talk about what my training is like right now. So basically I'm going through, I would call it like a triphasic training. There's this guy named Cal Dietz. I think that's the guy who came up with the whole idea of triphasic training, basically, where he emphasizes through phases 3 different things. So in every movement, in every athletic thing that you do, there's three parts of it. There's the eccentric, which is your muscles lengthening, and it's under tension. So like, imagine when you're going down in a squat, the length of your quad is increasing, but there's still tension on it. It's not like you're just dropping with the weight. Like you're making sure that you don't just get crushed. You're still kind of like resisting against it, but letting it overpower you. That was a weird way of saying that, but yeah, basically that's the first phase. And so I think that he actually has programmed that first, or the next phase of it is called the isometric phase. So isometric just means the muscle length is not increasing or decreasing, so it's staying the same. So when you see people, holding a wall sit for tendon health, or those people when they just put on like 600 pounds onto a bar and then just push up against it as hard as they can, even though they're not moving the weight, their muscle is contracting super hard. And then the last phase is the concentric phase, which is the muscle length is shortening, and there's tension on it. So that's what technically triphasic training is. But for me, I'm just calling like triphasic training. There's three different cycles or phases that I go through. So the first one that I start out with is like hypertrophy. It's called hypertrophy because that's most of what I'm doing. However, it's not for the goal of like just getting my muscles bigger and like that bodybuilder mentality. It's more of the idea of like, I know that if I increase my volume and decrease the intensity, I'm going to start feeling a lot healthier. And so it's kind of more of like a build the base phase in a way. And so I'm basically just making sure that later on when I do more intense things, I can handle it and my body can handle all that I'm doing. And also it just makes me just get into a better shape that I would not be if I'm like peaking or at the end of my strength phase. And then after my hypertrophy phase, I gradually switch my sets over from like, that 8 to I might go up to like 20 reps down to that like 1 to 4 range, maybe 5, 6 if we're in the middle of that. But yeah, my strength phase is next, to where I'm doing I'm just swapping out hypertrophy sets for strength sets. And with that, it's like you have to be very careful, because if you try and go and do really intense sets where it's really heavy weight, so that 4 rep range where maybe you can only do 6 reps and you're doing 4, or like you can only do 5 and you do 4, or maybe like 7, like that's still heavy. You cannot take the same amount of rest. Like for hypertrophy, it is so okay to crank out like 60% for like 8 to 10 reps or whatever, and only rest for about 2 minutes. When you get loaded up on the bar and you're about to hit like basically close to your 3 rep max for a double or a single, like that 2 minutes will blow by. Like you might have the breath, like your lungs might be refreshed, you might be like, oh, I'm okay, but like your legs or your back or your like glutes or whatever, they are going to be so cooked. So it's really important for me, at least, like sometimes I'll take 2.5, 3, it's gone over 3.5 minutes at some points in time. I'm more for like, I'd rather just do shorter rest period times at the beginning and longer at the end, because by the end of the workout you're so fatigued that it's like, I don't, like the last set is always hard to just get under the bar or to hinge over to pick it up. So I'd say it's better to just like maybe rest longer at the end. But yeah, this is kind of a side tangent. After the strength phase, I will be switching into a power phase. So that's way more Olympic lift focused. Like while I was doing squats and deadlifts and whatever else I'm doing, like one leg, Bulgarian split squats, stuff like that, I'll be switching those over into more of a power phase where I'm doing mostly Olympic lifts. So power clean, hang clean, snatch, hang snatch, full snatch. Not as much of full cleaning. I'm not really a big fan unless I'm just like, I need an ego booster, but that doesn't really happen very often. And so yeah, that would just be more to like impress people. I would much rather try and catch something in a quarter squat, because like my body knows the specific line in between a quarter squat and like anything deeper. For whatever reason, like it's like my body just won't let me catch in the middle of a full squat and a half or a quarter squat. So it's like, it'll be consistent when I catch high. And yeah, so switching over to the power phase, the hope for this actually is also that it gives me a little bit more spring in my step. I'm hoping I'm feeling a little bit better, and I'm hoping that I just like feel pretty fresh, and that little nicks, like knees, back, hips, ankles, they just kind of dissipate over the course of the time, because I'm thinking that if the sets are the same, Obviously the intensity is going to go a little bit down just because of the nature of like a clean with, it's just a lot less load in general. But yeah, I switch in between those 3 stages. I think there is a possible benefit to doing an elastic cycle, which I would have to prioritize way more of the like plyometric movements. I'm not sure if I want to do that because I'm already doing a lot of plyometrics right now, and so I think if anything, if I was trying to sprint super well, that would probably be the best option. But yeah, for as of now, we're just hitting the 3-phase principle, or triphasic, whatever, that's what I'm calling it. So yeah, let's go hit some heavy singles.